Okay, today we're going to be learning about dividing polynomials. And so this is our content standard, and the mathematical practice we'll be using will be attend to precision. So you have divided monomials before, so now we're going to divide polynomials using long division and synthetic division. Our new vocabulary word today, synthetic division. Now in Lesson 5.1 you learned how to divide monomials, so you can divide a polynomial by a monomial using the same skills. We simply will write this equation or this expression, each individual term over 5ab, and then as we move our a and b up, we'll change the sign. And then we're going to, 5 over 5 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 minus 1, oh, anything to the 0 power means it's the number 1. I don't know if you remember that, but anything to the 0 power is 1, so b to the 0 power is 1. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3, 1 minus 1 is 0, 3 minus 1 is 2, so b to the second. 10 divided by 5 is 2, 3 minus 1 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3. So our answer, a minus 3b squared plus 2a squared, b to the third. Okay, time for you to check your progress on this one. Remember, write each one of these terms over this denominator and then just simplify. So notice 3x squared y over 3x squared y. We're going to have 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 2. So 2x to the third y minus 9 divided by 3 is 3. 7 minus 2 is x to the fifth. 3 minus 1 is y squared. So b is our answer. You can use a process similar to long division to divide a polynomial by a polynomial with more than one term. This process is known as the division algorithm. So we simply rewrite this as a division problem, what we're used to seeing. What we look at is this first term and this first term. How many times does x go into x squared? Well, it goes into it x times. So then you just go back and multiply what you got times both of these terms. X times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. So now we're going to subtract the terms from each other, which means it's going to change the sign. So 5 minus 2 is 3x, and bring down your next term. X goes into 3x. How many times? Well, 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And again, we're going to subtract them from each other. So it changes both of these signs, so we have a remainder of 0. So our answer is x plus 3. The remainder is 0. So time for you to check your progress. Come back and check your answer in a moment. Did you get x plus 2? Very good. Now, just as with division of whole numbers, the division of two polynomials may result in a quotient with a remainder. Remember, if you've got 11 divided by 3, that equals 3 with a remainder of 2. But you could rewrite that as the answer 3 2/3. So the result of a division of polynomials with a remainder can be written in a similar manner. Whenever you see a number to a negative exponent or terms to a negative exponent, that means we're going to divide. So we have a squared minus 5a plus 3 divided by 2 minus a. So why don't you take just a moment and write all the answers down so you know which one you're looking at and you can choose as we're working through this. So we know we have a division problem, and we can rewrite it in a manner that's more familiar to us. Now we're going to use the division algorithm, and we can rewrite this as negative a plus 2, because we want the a first, So negative a goes into a squared, negative a times. Notice where we're writing that. The a over the a term. Negative a times negative a is a squared. Negative a times 2 is negative 2a. Now we're going to subtract them from each other. So we end up with negative 3a plus 3 because we bring down our next term. Negative a goes into negative 3a 3 times. 3 times negative a is negative 3a. 3 times 2 is 6. Now we're going to subtract them from each other, and we get a remainder of a negative 3. So our answer, we got the negative a plus 3 with a negative 3 over 2 minus a. So the answer is D. Okay, time for you to check your progress. So pause the video for a moment, work the problem, come back and check your answer. X plus 2 minus 1 over x minus 3. So we had a remainder of a negative 1. And then we're dividing by x minus 3. So that becomes our denominator because we're dividing by x minus 3. Very good. Now let's take a look at synthetic division. And this is in your textbook, but you might want to pause the video and write this information down. I will go over it with you briefly. Synthetic division is a simpler process for dividing a polynomial by a binomial. Suppose you want to divide 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 26x minus 24 by x minus 4 using long division. So we compare the coefficients in the division with those in example 4 that we just looked at. When the polynomial in the dividend is missing a term, a 0 must be used to represent the missing term. So with a dividend of 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 6, we're missing the x term, then a 0 will have to be used as a placeholder for the x term. So for synthetic division, we're going to write the coefficients of the dividend in descending order. We're going to use placeholders of missing terms. We're going to carry down the first term, multiply by r in the x minus r, and then add the product. And then continue. So let's look at this one. So first of all, let's write the terms in descending order. X to the third minus 4x plus 6x minus 4. I always look to see 3, 2, 1, none. Okay? You want to make sure that everyone is represented. I always check that. The coefficient with this one is 1, negative 4, 6, negative 4. Now, because this is x minus 2, we are going to take r is equal to 2. So we just, this is already negative. We're wanting to write the divisor as negative r, so negative, negative makes it positive. Or just remember, whatever this sign is, do the opposite in the box. Now, normally, I draw a line all the way through this one because this is where you're going to find your remainder if you have any. Always bring the first number on down. Okay, so now we're going to go 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. And then again, negative 2 times 2 is going to give us a negative 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. And we're not done, so we have to carry it on another step. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So we do not have a remainder. The numbers along the bottom are the coefficients of the quotient. So we're going to start with the power of x. That is 1 less than the degree of the dividend. Or, for example, we started out with x cubed, so we're automatically, this one's going to be x squared. Whatever we start with, if we started out, this was an x cubed, then this one's going to be an x squared minus 2x plus 2. See how neat that works? Okay, so time for you to check your hand at synthetic division. Did you get an x plus 7? Remember, we have to take the opposite of whatever that is. So in our little box, we're going to have a negative 1. We're going to bring on down the 1. We've got an 8 and a 7, so no remainder. Excellent. Now to use a synthetic division, the divisor must be in the form of x minus r, and if the coefficient of x in a divisor is not 1, you can rewrite that division expression so that you can use synthetic division. So notice we've got a problem here. That's not a 1. So in order to use it, we have to divide every term by 2, every one in the numerator and every one in the denominator. Okay, so this is what it looks like when we simplify the numerator and the denominator. We've divided it all by 2. Now we have a coefficient of 1. So y is y minus 1/2, so r is a positive 1/2. That goes in the box. We have a 2, a negative 3, a 2, and 1/2. So bring it down our 2. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 1/2 is negative 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. And 1/2 minus 1/2 is 0. The result is 2y squared minus 2y plus 1. So now you can check your answer by using long division. And folks, this is why I usually, if this is not a coefficient of 1, I just use long division to start out with. You may really like synthetic division, but then there's more chance for error. So 2y goes into 4y cubed, 2y squared times 2y squared times 2y, 4y cubed. 2y squared times negative 1, negative 2y squared. Now we're going to subtract them from each other, which means that changes sign. So negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4y squared. Bring down our next term. 2y goes into negative 4y squared, a negative 2y times. 2y times 2y, or negative 2y times 2y is negative 4y squared. Negative 2y times a negative 1 is a positive 2y. We're going to subtract, so it means we're going to change our signs. 4 minus 2 is 2y. Bring down our 1. 2y goes into 2y one time. 1 times 2y is 2y. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1 with a 0 as a remainder. So our answer checks. Time for you to check your progress. So pause for a moment and work this problem, then come back and check your answer. Do you wonder where this 4 came from? Well, did you get a 2 as a remainder? Well, remember, you divided every term by 2, and so in order to find out 4 as a remainder, you had to multiply it by 2 to have it as 2y over 2y plus 1. So that was a little something we haven't discussed earlier. All right, time for you to begin your assignment.